Do you or someone you know struggle with maintaining a good energy level throughout the day? Do you have crashes? Do you become so lethargic after you eat that you go into what they call a food coma? But actually, it's because your sugar is dropping, that something's going on with your insulin and your metabolism, and there's a bigger root cause to it. My name is Tara, and I want to give you some wisdom and wellness by using this tool called Lingo. And it is a biosensor glucose monitor. Now, the reason why I wanted to go on this journey is actually because someone I love, my husband, is struggling with just this. I noticed for probably the last couple of years that he gets very focused on what he's doing and he will forget to eat, and his meal timing is never consistent. Now, if this sounds like you or someone you know, this would be a great tool to help them not only alert them when they're dropping below that 70 milliliters, but also when they're spiking too high. This just gives you another way to be intentional and mindful of your body and the signals that it's giving to you throughout the day so that you can maintain your brain function and your overall functionality of your digestion. And I'm going to be giving you a play-by-play of how we take it out of the box, how you put it on, because I know a lot of people are a little worried, like, does a needle stick in my arm? No, it does not. There's no needle that stays in your arm. It is very minimal. My husband was kind of wanting to be a little difficult about it. I'm not going to lie. He was afraid because he didn't know what to expect. And it does go under the arm, and that's a very sensitive area. But honestly, when it was over, he's like, man, it didn't hurt at all. Like, I don't know why I made such a big deal about it. And I'll share some of the patterns that we started to notice over the last 2 weeks. And don't worry, it's also available for all my Android users as well. After you download the app, you'll have to go through a couple of simple setup prompts. It's going to first want your email, and then it's going to want you to select the plan that best fits your needs. Be sure to read through them all. Then accept the disclaimer and then the user agreement, and then it's going to take you to some more prompts to add your personal information, your name, your weight, your height, that kind of thing. And just take note that it does want you to confirm that you are over 18 and that you do not use insulin. And then there's a few other questions that you need to answer honestly. Once you've completed, you can either use the paper directions or the tutorial on your phone that is through the app to help you prep and apply the sensor. It is very simple, and the directions, I believe, are very well written. Just take your time and go through each step without rushing. It's not going to hurt, babe. You got this. You got this. All gently. There you go. Lift your arm up.
Sure took the needle out?
Mm-hmm. Once this so-called scary part of application is over, you can then link it via Bluetooth through the app by simply scanning your phone over the sensor. Now, I thought that was pretty cool. And it takes about an hour for the sensor to calibrate, so go on about your day and come back and start checking out the graph of where your current glucose range is. It's clear and it's easy to read. Okay, so when you inserted it, did it hurt? Because I think a lot of people are going to want to know.
It hurt for a second and then it went away.
Okay.
That was it though. It wasn't bad.
Were you sensitive a little bit on the arm or no?
No.
Okay, because that's a sensitive area. And then you said it'll be ready in an hour?
Yeah, it says 58 minutes. It'll be ready. All right, look at it. I just jumped to 103 from 90 drinking water.
So as you can see here on this graph, alert lines, we're guessing, are going to be when anything drops below 70 and if anything goes above 140. And it has your current reading down at the bottom with a timestamp.
Yeah, I don't even feel this thing on here. It's the craziest thing.
So Lingo has already been a game changer. My husband started eating today for dinner, and it was interesting because he was like, I need to eat. And I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad that you're feeling that you need to eat, because usually he'll wait too long until it just drops below that normal range. And he was about at 75, 76 before he ate. And then within 30 minutes, I kid you not, he dropped to 68, or no, it was 56. And then he shot back up to 68. But he went into like what people call a food coma, but it's not a food coma. The body literally was just like, shut me down because I don't know what to do with this food right now, and it caused a major dysregulation. So this screams hypoglycemic. Absolutely. So my next steps are we got to check some other things right away. We got to run a full panel because I feel like there could be things going on with the gut, definitely with the insulin. I'm curious if he's leptin resistant. So there's so many things that when you see things drop or spike, you really need to take a really good look at what's going on and get to the root cause. This device has been so helpful, and I'm not big on like the Bluetooth and the sensors in the body, but for the sake of trying to figure out what is going on so that nothing major happens, it is worth the low EMF risk for a few weeks. The more I researched it, it is very minimal compared to like what you would get using a microwave. And so I'm really eager to see the progress that my husband can make in making better food choices, but not only making better food choices, but food timing and what is on the plate, because it just can't be one thing or another. It has to be a well-rounded meal. All right, so we are past the 2-week mark using the Lingo. My husband had it on for about almost 10 days, and he is really rough and just like the job he does. And then when he's home, he's like an animal wrangler, if you would. He's always inside of like big fish tanks and stuff and cleaning them and scrubbing them. And so he's like, I bumped my arm and I bumped the sensor, and so it came off. And he's like, it didn't hurt. So FYI, if you bump it or you're working out or you're doing something like that, it doesn't hurt when it comes off. He only had a few more days with it, I think like 3.5 days left, because we did a 2-week trial on it. And so I said, okay, well, let's go ahead and pull the data from his sensor. And as you can see, when we go through these different settings, it's just letting you know your glucose trends. And what I really like about the app is it's just letting you know what is the percentage of you in your healthy range. And then when you scroll down, it lets you know like the variability range. And then, you know, what was the areas where you were dipping the most. The evening it shows slightly higher. And I think if I had more data, like almost a whole month, maybe 3 months, this data would show most likely evenings are going to be when he was the most unstable with his glucose levels, because that is when I've seen him tank the most, like usually around like 4 or 5. If he ate something and didn't get up and stay moving, he would pretty much go into what people call a food coma, but it wasn't a food coma. It's just his sugar was dropping so fast and his body was literally shutting down. And that's what happens, because what's going on is that he's already not getting correct hormone signals. He's not getting great light signals already. His body doesn't know what to do with all of the overload of food, especially if it's very carb rich, or if you ended up having some dessert after. And he's not a big dessert guy, but he is very carb driven. I really feel like this has been a really great science health experiment, if you would, because it gave me insight to learn quite a few things. One, it was a glucose thing for my husband, and it usually happened late afternoon, early evening. His body would shut down. I call them kind of like almost like a glucose seizure, if you would, because it literally shuts your body down where someone's not even coherent. They can't make a sentence. They forget. They can slur their words. It can almost feel like, are they having a stroke? What's going on? And in the beginning, I didn't know what was going on. And so we started thinking like, is this something, pre-diabetic? And it very well could be. But the other biggest thing that was a huge takeaway, and I feel like it's a win, and I'm going to call it a win because it uncovered what a big spike to his glucose and then what caused a big drop after, and it was nicotine. And my husband has chewed for, I want to say, over 2 decades. And so if you know anybody that uses any type of nicotine products, it almost is as if his body created like a phantom signal that it was glucose, because when he put a chew in, he spiked and then he immediately tanked back down. And it didn't tank him below the 70, but it brought him very close, like low 80s. And so that made me wonder what his body was doing with that nicotine. It seemed like it was a spike in sugar. Okay, biggest takeaway is just to become more aware. What we're putting in our bodies. What are your inputs? And then what is the body's output? Is it a positive or negative? So we have to start thinking outside the box. We have to start thinking smarter instead of saying, oh, I'm just coming down with a cold or I feel sick. No, you were putting something in your body or on your body that is causing it to react the way that it is. You just didn't wake up with the pain. No, that could be many things. Digestive upset, stress, anything that is overwhelming your allostatic load in your bucket is causing issues with your body and then entering dis-ease. If you want to learn more about that, you can definitely DM me or send me an email. I'll leave all of that information down in the description, including the link to Lingo with a discount code. I love to teach you more about all of this, and you can also follow me on Soul Harmony Holistics on Instagram. Stay grounded and rooted in Jesus. I'll see you in the next video.